Hi, welcome to another video of the Target Individual Experience, the Target Individual Program. So let's see. Prior to the last video that I did, um, the targeting had somewhat subsided, but it was still there, and they were being a lot more, again, sneaky, a lot more careful, and but again, when you've been through this for going on 2 decades, you, particularly if you pay attention to what's being done to you, you recognize even the more subtle of the targeting. You know, for example, again, them microwaving us, microwaving my kids to target me, microwaving Pam to target me over the weekend. It was my weekend with the kids, and they were microwaving us and having my kids, my children, target me. Particularly uh, my oldest son, excuse me, Bryce, who's 17 years old. And I don't pay it any mind because I know it's not them, that it is the microwave technology, the silent sound spread spectrum that is putting the thoughts into their mind to do certain things. And they don't know, they really don't know what they're doing. And same thing with Pam. Yesterday, actually last night, she came in from work and she was tired, so she asked, just give her some time to rest, and I did. And I went to the bedroom and to wake her up, and you know, she had her hands over the blanket, and she raised her middle finger, but it was very slight. And again, they do it to bypass my defense mechanism, because normally if she would do it outright, like stick it all the way out, I would probably leave. And I guess they didn't want me to leave for whatever reason. So it was very subtle. So I said, okay, let me see if she's going to do it again. So I gave her a kiss on the cheek, and I looked at her hands again, and she did it again. And I gave her a kiss on the cheek 3 times, looked at her hands, and she did it again. So at that point, I was like, okay, yeah, they're heavily microwaving us. So I thought, I was like, you know what, I should get out of here. And then the sirens starts going off and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, you know what, I ain't got no time for this. But I'll talk about that coming to the end of this video. But I want to start off talking about uh, the cult members that are engaged and have been recruited by the architect of these programs and the overseers of these programs, which is the police, and how they have created a cult mentality within groups of people, and they're operating as a super cult, right? This is a multi-ethnic, multi-generational, multicultural cult that they formed, and they're formed around this idea of this false idea of what is called the national security, national safety issues, right? I mean, that's how they get people on board with this stuff. Never mind the fact that they don't say to them, hey, they're individuals that we are experimented on with these technology that can't be seen, that uses microwave, radio waves. People are being microchipped. They're not telling them this stuff, right? So again, just as how they research you, they profile you as a TI, you have to also research them and profile them. So a very good article to read is this article here, which is it's just called the investigation into cult pseudo personality. What is it, and how does it form? Right. So you have to understand the people who are doing this to you. Right. You have to understand what kind of personality that they have. What kind of backgrounds they may come from, even though they come from many different backgrounds, but they all have hold on to a belief of, what they all have in common is a religious belief, right? The belief of a God, um, that they can always rally to, right, and ask for forgiveness in any wrong that they're doing, and that makes them feel better doing wrong, asking for forgiveness, and thinking that their God has forgiven them, and that's why they can do this continuously. On top of that, too, they're being protected by those in the authoritative position who are the overseers of this program that are allowing them to commit these crimes. Okay, and when you go to file a police report, the one thing that they'll tell you, actually the first thing that they'll tell you, and the only thing that they'll tell you, is to go seek professional help, because they're not going to take your concerns seriously, even though your home might be breaking into, your property damage, even though you'll show them evidence of stalking, gang stalking, they're not going to look at it. They're just going to tell you that. And again, that is a script that they use to deter you from pursuing any type of justice from the people that is doing this to you, because they are involved. Those in law enforcement are involved in this, and a lot of the police officers, they all belongs to religious organizations, and that's how they're able to form a super cult, right? And so they will always put their religious belief above anything, even joining with other religious believers, because they all believe in this God, right? So no matter what they may call this God, they all believe that it's the same God, right? Well, most of them anyway. So again, this is a very good article to read. This is from the ICSA, and I'll share the link in the description below so you guys can read it. And also, just to give you an idea of how they're trying to make these, uh, these religious uh, police officers on the force get away with a lot of stuff that they're doing. Now, certain states like Alabama um, are now creating a Christian church police force that have all of the uh, powers of the federal and state and local police force. Okay, you guys should think about this. So these people running around here, gang stalking people, participating in these type of coercive persuasion program. This is a precursor for what's to come, and these are basically fundamentals, religious people, a religious believer, who are part of the law enforcement system, who are part of the government, the security agencies, okay, who are basing their action on their religious beliefs, okay, and that's dangerous, and that is why they do what they're doing, and they continue to get away with it, okay. So, all right, let's move on to the coercive mind control tactics, and again, I'm going to talk about how the tactics of what they do, okay, and intimidation, which I'm going to show you again of how they do things, the creation of strong aversive emotional arousal, and I'm going to uh, link that with directed energy weapons such as silence on spectrum, so you guys can understand, how the psychological program is used together with the directed energy weapons as well as microchipping together to create this new mind control program, a coercive persuasion system as they call it, a program as they call it. And they call it that to sanitize the word mind control and brainwashing. Right? So they've now changed it into what is called behavior modification, okay, or coercive persuasion. Because it doesn't sound that bad, right? But this is again what they do. Okay. All right, let's go to the video. So the previous video I did, and I'm going to include include the ending video where you see the fire trucks and the firemen, engaging in this type of noise campaign and harassment. So what I didn't include in the video, I'm not sure if I did or not, but prior to me uh, reaching the corner of that intersection, when I first heard the fire trucks, right? Um, and I started recording. So this is what they do. And again, using the number 32. So as I was walking, and this was last Friday, right? So as I was walking to go pick up the kids from school, again, this car was parked up. As soon as I approach it, he starts to drive off very slowly. And again, they do that to get your attention. Actually, this was probably Thursday. Yes, this was Thursday because Ethan had after school, so did not. So this is not Friday. So this is Thursday. This is prior to that um, with the fire truck situation. So this is Thursday, and going to pick up Ethan, and then this happened. All right. Okay. So let's go to Friday. Okay. And here I am walking to pick up the kids from school. And again, I'm going to show this because I need to keep it in context and to show you the timeline leading up to today and the occurrence, right, of what happened in this coercive persuasion program. So Friday, going to pick up the kids, reach the corner, and you guys seen this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to skip past this. Also, let me go back and play this part right here. So I want you to watch the movement of these teenagers, right? How they, purposely come in my way to block me or to alter my direction. Okay? So they'll step into me. Now, yesterday, when I went to pick up the kids from school, well, at least Alyssa, and I was walking across the same intersection, you had actually four teenage girls came and they did the same things. Basically walked in front of me. Okay, they see I was walking and they purposely walked in front of me. One of them got so close to me that I had to turn and walk around her. Now she was so close that when I turned, I actually bumped into her chest, right? And I turned around and I look at these kids and start shaking my head. I'm like, this is the type of stuff that they do, right? This is how, again, they try to create some narrative, okay, of to say, well, oh, he bumped into me and he touched my breast or what have you. This is the things that they do, okay? And again, you have young teenagers engaged in these types of behavior, right? This is a cult-driven uh, program that's being run, the psychological aspect of it, okay? It is a cult-driven program, and these kids, okay, these kids and young teenagers, are being manipulated, right? And so now when you hear about, a lot of kids are committing suicide because of bullying, this is the type of mentality that is being created, okay? So not only are they doing this and targeting me as an adult, but because they've been indoctrinated and they've been conditioned with this type of behavior and these types of thoughts, that they're going to turn around and do it to somebody else, all right? And this is what you see that's happening. So when you talk about the bullying and kids committing suicide because of that, blame these cults, because this is exactly what it is that they're doing, okay? They're training and conditioning their children to participate in destructive cult behavior. And bullying is a big part of it, whether it be psychological, verbal, physical. It is a big part of it because they are being trained with these kind of harassment tactics. Okay, and so they will apply it, you know, amongst people who they don't like. Okay, so let's go again. You know, see the as I approach their leave. You know, to let you guys know that really there is no emergency that was taking place. Okay, all right. So now we're on our way back. Um, After I picked him up, we're on our way back, and I didn't show this video because I didn't. This was the afternoon, Friday afternoon, so I didn't get a chance to upload the video and um, and record the video. All right, so I want you to watch this woman here, and again, I've never, excuse me, I've never got this on video before, but again, what they'll do is that they'll use people who are wearing army fatigue, right? And then they will engage in this. It's like, you know, saying to me, subliminally telling me that yeah, the Defense Department, you know, ultimately is the one that's responsible for these types of program. Which I already know this. I already know this, but because of the nature of this program, and it's kind of like psychopathic in nature. Nature is kind of schizophrenic in nature because again, the study of the human uh, of people who have, you know, schizophrenic, who are serial killers, who are psychopaths. So experiencing this program is like you're living in the mind of a psychopath, right? So the program is the mind, the tactics employed, the use of the microwave weapons for mind control, stuff like that. It's like you're in the mind of a psychopath who love to torture you and let you know that they're torturing you, right? And then because it's psychological, they figure no one is going to believe you, right? Because when you do talk about what's happening to you, you're automatically given a label, which is a psychiatric label to discredit you. And that's why we have to do videos like this. That's why we have to expose it. We have to study what it is that they're doing and explain as you're doing these videos exactly what's happening. So you'll see this lady walking with her son, and again, she's wearing that army fatigue jacket, a camouflage jacket. And watch as she walks past me. Look what she does. See how she sticks her tongue out at me like this? You see that, right? If you guys want me to make it bigger, I will make it bigger so that you guys can see properly. Okay, and just let me zoom in here a bit. Let's do that. Okay. All right, so you guys can get a better picture. So you see, this is what she does, right? And this is what they do. You know, I mean, this is the second time that I actually got a good picture of someone, one of these perps, you know, sticking their tongue out at me as they walk past me. All right. Okay. Now watch the woman behind. Let's do it again. So she looks at me because again, they'll have 3 or 4 perps right behind each other targeting me. And look at this woman here too. You know, they love to do what is called the staring campaign as they do things like this, right? Because they want to see my reaction, they want to see the look on my face, my expression, so they can go back and report what it is that they see. Okay. Okay, and so you'll see another video. Let me enlarge this one also. And so now, again, the use of the red theme and the use of teenagers again, you'll see. And this is right after that previous video with the woman sticking her tongue out. I thought it was, you know, done until I get on the block and turned and saw this teenage girl walking towards me. And immediately as she sees me, she starts playing with her hair, you know, uh, pulling on her ears. And so, you know, of course, I got to record it. So you see the hand signals, touching the nose, squeezing the nose, and then sticking the hand in the ears. Now she's playing with her hair. This is the kind of thing that you see, all right? And they don't give you a rest, okay? It is continuous 24/7, okay? It may not be as frequent every day, but, you know, it is being done every day. It may not be repeated, you know, in a, what's the word I'm looking for here? In terms of frequency, right? So it may not be repeated frequently every time, but sometimes they'll space it out a little bit more, just to kind of throw you off. And then when they start attacking you heavily, the frequency will increase a whole lot. Okay, and so after you know, we got upstairs, I took the kids home with me, and then we arrived on my block. I parked, and as I was parking, I saw a woman. She was walking in the street, and she stopped behind this vehicle. See this little car right here, right in front of the fire hydrant? So she stood up right behind the car. She turned and she looked at the license plate of the car, and then went back onto the sidewalk. The same sidewalk that she got off on to walk in the street, to stand up behind this car and turn and look at the license plate of the car, because again, they want to get my attention. Now, why do you think she's looking at the license plate of the car to get my attention? Okay, and that's the reason why, right? So the use of that number 32, uh, and the reason why they'll use numbers if you're a target individual, because they have attached it to something in your, uh, or they basically brainwash you, manipulated you using um, dark psychology or dark NLP to create some type of phobia, so create some type of negative emotion or negative thought pattern, and they could attach anything to whatever it is that they want in your subconscious, right? So if they want to make you fearful of dogs, they can do it, right? If they want to make you fearful of spiders, if they want to make you fearful of smoking, if they want to make you fearful of sex, if they want to make you fearful of uh, loving somebody, right? This is what they do. They manipulate and control your emotions through the use of what is called dark NLP, right? And they'll use it on the people around you too. Okay, so you'll see she goes and she stands right here, and you see as I approach, she's doing this. Okay, and then she's basically staring at my kids. My kids. That's what she's doing. Literally staring at my kids, because again, you know, trying to send me subliminal message of doing the same thing to my children if I don't stop talking about this stuff. And again, this is where they also use Pam in terms of using her as reward and punishment in terms of intimacy. Um, so again, you know, if I talk about this, I'll keep doing my video. They'll, you know, use her to, you know, deny me that intimacy that we normally was having at the beginning, before, um, before a lot of this stuff got to a point to where it is right now, to where we barely are intimate, probably like once a month, and it's only when again they use her and they'll it's like throwing you a bone, right? Well, let's see if we let her give him some, if he'll stop talking about what it is that we're doing. But it never works, so then we go back to a long period of not having any type of intimate relation, and that's fine. That's fine. I'm like, hey, okay, I'll get it when I get it. you know but the one thing I will not do is remain silent about what's being done. I refuse. Okay. Yeah, I love my kids, and you know I'm always going to be there for them. Hopefully I'm always going to be there for them. At least I will. If I'm not, it's not by my doing. But yeah, but this is what they do. Okay. So now I want you guys to pay attention. All right. So again, they're gonna always follow it up with another perp and another perp if I was walking straight. But here I am going into my building, and here is a young woman who I've never seen before. And you see, as we approach each other, she starts playing with her hair again. Okay. And you see how she's smiling, because again they think it's funny. So the reason why she's playing with her hair, and you'll see here, is the palm fixation drill right there. Okay. And look at her smiling like it's funny. It's not funny, but again, that is the uh, sadistical nature and mindset that they've created in these people. All right. So they think it's funny. Okay. All right. So let's move on. So this is Saturday morning. I had to go back by Pam because I forgot Alyssa uh, medicine. And so here I am, you know, driving there. And I got to mute for copyright purpose because the radio is on. And I should turn the radio off, but, I like listening to music sometimes. All right. So as I'm driving there, I'm hearing all this police sirens. And I think I was approaching this intersection when, again, the red theme is at play. As you see the guy across the street here wearing red. Okay. And let me see if you can see the police view, because I didn't really turn the phone. Okay, so the woman in the green stuck her tongue out at me. All right. So then the police car approaching, because you hear me say that. All right. So this is what they do, right? So the police are being very careful in terms of not allowing me to get them on video. All right, and again, once you start showing a pattern of police vehicles along the way, and I think at this point right here, you see these two guys on the right. Uh, they're standing there talking, and you see that I move the phone. I turn the phone because again, one of them was doing these hand signals. So let's see. And I had a ticket from a parking meter. I should have removed it, but I didn't. So that's why you see this reflection right here. Okay. So again, this is a masking technique that they use, so that they'll have two people engage in a conversation where one of them is constantly, animated with their hands, right? Because they're doing hand signals, okay? And they want to mask it because they don't want you to react to it. Or if you do film it, they just look like somebody's talking and moving their hands. Okay, so now the light has changed, and so now you'll see he puts his hands up over his head as if he's scratching or fixing his dude rag, but he's not. What he's doing, he's giving me the middle finger. And if you pay close attention, if you view this full screen, you'll see the middle finger sticking up. And this is a theme that has been played out throughout the weekend, including last night with Pam. Okay, and now as I drive by, he puts his hands down. Okay, again, the hand behind the head. So the woman right here, she starts uh, puts her hands over her mouth. Okay, yeah. All right, so here I am. I got parking, and let's move on to the next video. Okay, so now again, came back downstairs. Guess who's back, right? If you look across the street, you'll see the perp. Okay, this is and again, right. So they were basically using silent sound to transmit, uh, you know, the or send me a transmission about um, being on medication. Okay. All right. So this is what they do, right? And I want to explore this a little bit more. So let's go to, because again, I'm going to show you guys how this coercive persuasion tactics works, right? And so the um, the intimidation, right? Also the um, let's see, I'm trying to find the right tactic here. Well, I guess it's intimidation, right? So it's to intimidate me, right? And when certain things don't work, they send you these types of subliminal messages. Okay, for example, the where it says here, it says it may be suggested or implied that failure to adopt the approved attitude, belief, or consequence behavior will lead to severe punishment or dire consequences such as physical or mental illness, the reappearance of a physical illness, drug dependence, economic collapse, social failure, divorce, integration, and failure to find a mate, etc. So over the weekend, I was contacted by, a woman on social media who I guess all of a sudden became interested in me. Now, being a target individual, the if you're straight and you're attracted to the opposite sex, they will do everything in their power to not uh, let you date, or they will go around spreading rumors about anybody that you talk to, because once you meet somebody, um, they will follow that individual and get them into a space where they can engage in manipulation and propaganda against you to turn that person off from you. Or what they'll do is that they'll stage these honey traps. All right? And honey traps mean the use of women or men. All right. So if you're a woman and you're straight, you're attracted to men, they'll do that. If you're gay, they'll do it also to the same sex that you're attracted to. So this is the type of stuff that they do, right? So, like again, they were sending me this transmission, and they were using Pam, controlling her, using silent sound spectrum to send me transmission about, you know, like I'm crazy and I should go on medication, right? So again, this is the type of thing that they do. So if it's not that, then it'll be, the homelessness theme, right? And also the loss of privileges, because prior to leading up to Sunday, Pam has been very cold towards me, right? Very mean at times. And then, so I stopped sleeping over at her house. And so Sunday, I spoke to her and I told her I was going to drop the kids off at a certain time. And she was like, am I staying over? And I said, no, I'm not staying over unless you want me to stay over. And then she was like, well, I want you to stay over. And I'm like, okay, it's been a while since she's actually said to me that she wants me to stay over. Usually she just leave it up to me, you know. But for her to be the one to say, hey, I want you to stay over, again, that kind of raised my ears a little bit, because I'm like, what is it that they're up to? Okay. So this is the thing that they do, again, the reward and punishment, because of the video that I did on Friday, and they knew I had other videos that I have recorded. So again, they're sending me transmission about subliminal message about not doing any more videos, and so not talking to other target individuals, because Sunday, um, whenever I got a text message from another target individual that I speak to on a regular, I would hear police sirens again, trying to deter me. And again, this is what they do in terms of prohibit disconfirming information. Now, I'm not in a cult, right? And they do this to their members, those who are cults. The leaders of the cults do this to the members of the cult. And so, being a side of a cult is different. When the cult is set against you to target you, it's a little different, right? It's the same tactics, but it's a little different in terms of, you know, it gets to a point where they don't want me talking about what they've done to me and what they continue to do, and so they'll use the police, right? So if a target individual call me, I will start hearing sirens, or even when we're on the phone having a conversation, they'll start with the sirens also. So again, it's to deter you from talking with outsiders. But the outsider, if you're the target of a cult, is the people who are going through the same thing that you are, so they don't want you talking to them, sharing information with them, because you might help them out, or they might help you out in terms of becoming uh, aware and some of the tactics that they do, right? So again, this is the thing that they do, right? Then also they try to make you feel guilty. They try to isolate you socially, which they've done, and you know it's a lot of stuff that they do. You know what I'm saying? And it's hard. It's hard. It's lonely, but that's why I take up the mantle to fight against what they're doing to me and others every single day. Because instead of focusing my attention on the negativity, because that's what they want me to do, I try to focus something that's positive in terms of doing these videos, helping others out, teaching others what's being done. Okay. So again, this is some of the things that they do. All right. So now, all right, let's go back to the video. And so here I am leaving Pam. I remember on the way over by Pam Saturday morning, or Saturday afternoon, actually. Um, like I said, on my way there, I was constantly hearing police sirens. Okay, not fire trucks, not ambulance, but police sirens. I mean, I know how to recognize police sirens from ambulances to fire trucks. Also, and I forgot about this, when I got home on Friday evening, okay, in which you saw they showed the lady standing doing this, okay. Immediately as I got parking, got out the car, they turned on the air raid sirens, okay, and they do this from time to time. And I should have recorded, but I was so busy trying to get the kids out the car and get stuff together that I just didn't get the chance to do it. But they literally turn on the air raid sirens. You know what air raid sirens, right? They use it in times of war. So again, psychological warfare. This is what they do. Okay, just to let you know, this is war. I know this is war, but again, the psychopathic nature of this program is to let you know what it is that they're doing to you. Okay. All right. So that's me just explaining what it is that they're doing. So again, now you'll see again being put into a fixation drill as I turn these two individuals, instead of walking straight, which they were going to, they turn. There's a reason for this, because again, you'll see the fixation with the palm, the fixation drill. So as he walks across the street, I think that was a girl. Okay, so as she walks across the street, let's go. All right. Okay. So when you look, you'll see her hands are to turn to the side. Now, as I turn, and I believe this guy, let's see what this guy over here does. Okay. Okay, because they'll do stuff at a far off distance, so that the phone camera won't be able to pick it up. So you see the hands is to the side. Okay. And the guy walking towards me on the next block puts his hands over his mouth. Okay. Again, uh, in this case, they're using the color blue, and you'll see that as I do this morning, and what it is, how to use colors. Like again, the three colors that they started using to target me: blue, red, and gray. Okay. So now you'll see me turn. Okay, hands are to the side, but then she gets to the sidewalk as she goes up, and watch this. Okay, you see how the hand turned behind? Let's do that again. I just want to pause it at that exact moment. Now watch. There you go. See that? Literally, her hands goes to the side, and then she turns it towards me. Okay. Now again, this is all scripted. This is all acted out, because you'll see as I turn, right? Okay. Okay, so as I'm driving past them, he turns and give me a big smile. Okay. Again, this is what they do, right? So basically, I'm public enemy, which is what the narrative that they've created. And again, I'm a distraction though. And what these people don't realize is that I am a distraction from the real issue. Okay. But as long as you can get people to engage in this type of behavior, they feel good. As long as those religious folks feel that, I might be some type of evil person, they will gladly participate in this, especially if they know a thing that they can get away with it, because the people who are allowing them to do it are within law enforcement, right? So this is what they do. All right, and so this is exactly what they're doing, trying to silence me. And you see the guy walks across the street, he bows his head. As you see, he's looking at me. Okay, just like I said. And then you see these three people across the street here. Watch this. You see as they approach, one of them pinch uh, her nose. This is three women. One of them pinched their nose. All right. So this is what they do. So let me uh, get to this intersection here, and then I'll show you guys how they use the homeless theme. All right. So this is they're using the they're using a multiple of the subliminal message, of the subliminal theme in this coercive persuasion. The threat of homelessness, the um, the rumors or what have you of the mental illness. And what else? There's a few things here. Okay, so let's continue. Okay, I should be coming up on the intersection and where I'm about to make the turn, and then you guys will see the homelessness theme that they love to run. So here we go. You see the homeless guy. He's going to walk out into the street. All right, and he turns. He looks at me. Okay, and you'll see how his hands are, and I'm going to get up to show you exactly what it is that he did. So I do apologize if you guys get triggered by this, but I need to show this because again, uh, it didn't show on the video. So he walks across the street. Let me uh, push the camera there. Okay, he walks across the street and he does this. Okay, and then the as I turn the phone, okay, then you'll see him now stick out four fingers. And as he turns, see that? Okay, so this is again what they do, and using homeless people. They're very crafty. Okay, all right, not done. I don't want to move ahead of myself. Okay, so now I'll tell you about them using the mental illness theme, right? So as I'm driving across the intersection, the building on the right, that's the Kings County. Kings County is a hospital here in Brooklyn. And on this side of the street, on this block, it's a very long block. This is where they house their mentally ill patients. Okay. And so as I was driving, I saw one of the security guards, right? And he's standing on the sidewalk, okay? And you can see right here, his back is turned, all right? So his back is facing me, okay? And the minute I saw this, uh, and then I saw the guy in front of him, woman in front of him, started doing these hand signals. So at this point, I became aware, and I was like, okay. So you'll see me turn the phone so the camera can, pick up to the side. So now you'll see this individual here, right here, standing uh, behind this vehicle. Okay, he's gonna be looking at me. Okay, I want you guys to see this. It's gonna be very quick. Okay, so there he is. You'll see him looking at me. Just a little dot there, but you can see his hair is black, his face is brown. That's because he's looking at me. And as I approach, you'll see he turns real quick. All right, see he turns real quick. And so now, as I'm driving by, I am going to turn because again, you'll have to do the subliminals. Okay. And so now he turns and he starts pointing as if he's talking to this woman here, right? But again, he's talking to her, but again, it's all scripted. It's about the hand signals, right? And what they've brainwashed me into recognizing and what they've put into my subconscious without my permission. So again, it is brainwashing. Okay. Today he is. Okay. Yeah. So, okay. So now, here we go. Let's go to the next video. Again, another young woman. Okay, staring at me as I turn, hands behind the back. See, and then like I said, I may not be able to see her hands behind her back, but I know what she's doing. Okay, I've explained this a lot of times of women walking in front of me, hands behind the back with the palm of the hand open, their fingers open wide, with the palm of the hand facing outwards towards me. Okay, and like I said, Pam does do the exact same thing when they're microwaving us in the house. She does the exact same thing. So again, uh, just to show you guys how they set this up. Okay, so let's go. And again, I share the red theme as I pull up on my block. Okay, now watch the guy as approach. He's approaching. You'll see he takes out his phone. As he gets close, he bows his head. Now he's gonna take out his phone. Okay, now he didn't take it out because anybody text him or call them or he want to call anybody. But now as he gets close, it's just to show me, again, is to say that we've tapped your phone, and so this is what they're gonna do. And of course, you see the use of symbolism, use of logos to insinuate, some, like there's some champion or what have you. And so, I started using that same thing against them too, where I would wear a whole bunch of shirts with the champion logo on it. And, they couldn't look at me when I wear those shirts. They would go across the street. So I know that it affects them psychologically, more so than it affects me, because they're not the champion of anything. Okay. They're probably the champions of fools, and that's about it. But they're not the champions of anything. Okay, how could you be the champion when I'm exposing everything that you're doing? Okay, if I was to remain silent and not say anything, yeah, I might say, okay, you may be right, but you're not, because I am exposing every single thing that you do. So you haven't silenced me, and you never will. And then he gets mad as he walks off. But again, this is what they do. Uh, Even this morning, the expression on their face, it went from like they were mad at me for something. But again, this is the stuff that they do. And again, manipulating uh, Pam against me, and those sort of things. But hey, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I told Pam, I said, listen, I love you, but if you're letting other people manipulate you into having ill feelings towards me, then that's on you. There's nothing I can do. I think I've shown loyalty to you, respect for you. So but again, when it comes to respecting me or any other targeted individual, that's the one thing that we lose out, is the respect and the credibility in terms of our mindset, our sanity, because how this program is constructed. It's constructed to strip you of your credibility the minute you engage in trying to expose what's happening to you and what's being done to you. Okay, all right, so let's move on to the next video. So this is Sunday, taking the kids over by Pam, and I'm not going to spend too much time talking about what the perps are doing. I want to get to this video right here, because again, showing you guys how things are being done. So again, you always see that red theme. Okay, female walk across the street wearing red. Okay, now as it come to this intersection, and you'll see as the light about to change, you'll see this individual. Now he gets out of his car. Actually, the light changed, so he waited till the light changed, because if you look through the back windshield of this vehicle, you'll see the light change to green. He steps out. Okay, you'll see him step out. You'll see him look. He's looking at the light because he's looking up. He's not looking straight. He's looking up. Okay, and then he switches his phones, and you're gonna see the middle finger. So as you see here, okay, I just need to pause it at the right moment. And again, it's very subtle. Okay, like I said, it's very subtle as to avoid detection. So here we go. So you see the middle finger. If you look at his hands, you'll see the middle finger just sticking out just slightly. And again, it's very subtle. Okay, and then he puts his hands back in his pocket. I think he did the same thing that the homeless guy did with the that, I don't know if I should do it again. Again, I don't want to trigger anybody who's watching this video. Okay, so again, you'll see, right? So at that point, after he gave the middle finger, he does again this, as I was showing you guys before. He does this. Okay, So again, we're gonna expose everything that they're doing. All right. Now I think, let's see if I missed it, because I think, okay, there you go. So again, masking what it is that he's doing as he switched his phone to his other hand. You'll see the four fingers, right, as he does this. Okay. Okay. Just got to watch that. Watch the hand signals. And again, I have to pause it just so you guys can see. Now, as he's doing that, okay, you'll see in the far off distance, you'll see a police vehicle. Okay, you see this white vehicle. If you look right down the middle, you'll see a little white spot here. This is a police vehicle coming on, basically driving down the wrong uh, way on Pamela's block, right? So this is 2 blocks ahead, right? So he's driving down the wrong way on Pamela's block immediately after this guy. So again, we talk about how I talk about this, how the police will use civilians to send subliminal threats, right? And then, eventually they'll show themselves because they'll either be behind the perp, okay, and in this case, they're driving. So as soon as he does his little hand signal, his little threats, what have you, then, the headache comes, right? You'll see it is making a turn. Now, again, I want you to watch the direction in which I turn onto Pamela's block, okay? And he is basically coming off of her block, driving down the wrong way, okay? And again, I said now they're being very crafty and very careful of not doing it so close in which I can, possibly get the license plate or what have you. So if you see the direction that I'm going to turn in, and I'm going to show you the police vehicle because this is where they parked up right here. So if you look to the right, look down to the next intersection to the right, you'll see the same police vehicle that is now parked up there because they want me to know that they're there. And this is again, um, the subliminals of me going by Pam, because like I said, there are times to time when I'm being heavily targeted, and I used to accuse Pam of targeting me. Every time I would go over to her house, there would be a heavy police presence. And I've shown this plenty of times. And so what you see here is the same thing that's happening, except they're being more careful about it to where I won't record it. And like I said yesterday, actually this was Sunday. So Sunday, I end up staying, and again, you know, um, all of a sudden, you know, I guess she wanted to be intimate, but she didn't want to say anything. But I can tell. And again, this is and then trying to send me subliminal messages again, also about being quiet and not, exposing what it is that they're doing. And the minute I was talking to her TI yesterday about doing my next video, she just kind of become, distant, right? And even this morning, I was driving her to work, and I asked her a question, and I said to her, "Are you cold?" Because she was sitting in the car and she had her hands in her jacket pocket, and I said to her, "Are you cold? Why you have your hands in your jacket pocket?" And then she all of a sudden she's like, "Oh, I don't know what to do with my hands and such and such." And then when I dropped her off at work, again, she, you know, started to put me through the thumb, the thumbnail fixation drill. So as we were approaching her job, she takes her hands out of her pocket and position her thumb so that every time I would look over to her, I would just see her thumb. So her hands would be closed, where, and then her thumbnail would be, you know, um, positioned to where I would see her thumbnail. Right. So this is again, what it is that they're doing. Right. And because all last week, she was calling me from work, uh, yesterday, today, and she hasn't called not once to say, hey, how your day is going, or what have you. So I know, again, this, because again, I've been through this so many times, right? The difference is, I don't react in a negative way anymore, because I get to understand that this is a pattern, a repeated pattern that they do, and I have to, understand that a lot of times, we're being microwaved, okay, and so me having these outbursts, I wouldn't say outbursts, but me having getting upset and leaving is not going to make any difference, okay? Because they come right back and do the same thing over and over. All right. And like I said, particularly last night, where she kept doing the subtle sticking the middle finger out at me. Um, you know. Okay, so let's go back a little bit where I turned, and let's see here. Okay. Okay. I was very surprised to find parking right away, but hey, I'll take it. Okay, so that was Sunday. Yesterday, um, I went to pick up my daughter from school. Ethan has after school, so I have to pick her up first. I took her out of after school because they're not helping her at all. So, we do a lot more work at home as opposed to when she goes to after school. So as I'm walking to the school, I saw an ambulance and it was parked up really strange. Okay, really, really weird. And so, I didn't record anything. I didn't think anything of it. I mean, I'm so used to the subliminal threats again, with the ambulances and stuff like that. So I didn't pay any attention to it. And then I, as I turned the corner, I started to hear the fire trucks. All right. And I'm like, okay, here we go again. So I turned around to record. And, as, when I turned, I was walking, see this guy right here. He's standing by this car. He's wearing a red sweater. Again, using the red theme. And as I turn around to record the fire truck, he comes walking. See how he looks at his hands, because he takes his phone out, and there go the fire truck. Okay. And again, you'll see teenager sticking his tongue out at me. So, I mean, to tell you, they use all ages, okay, in this cult-driven Coercive Persuasion Program. They've recruited all ethnicity into engaging in this kind of behavior. Now, as I turn, again, you'll see this young lady and this young kid. She starts playing with her hair again, and then you'll see her putting her hands on her face. Now it's weird because I remember Pam doing the same thing to me, and she's never something that she's never done. But we were laying in bed, and this was like, I think, um, possibly 2 weeks ago, and all of a sudden she just takes her hands and places it against my face, and then start to see civilian perpetrators doing the same thing of placing their hands against their face. So as you see here, and again, that fixation drill of you know the palm of the hand, because as I got closer to her, you see how her hands come off her face, and it's slightly turned towards me so that I can see the palm of her hand. Okay. And I'm talking to this guy in front of me, so that's why you hear me saying that. Okay. So that was yesterday. Okay. Um, so now this is today. Um, Okay, I think. Okay, so this is this morning. Um, Taking the kids to work. I mean to school. Okay, let's go here. So here I am taking the kids to school, and okay, just have to scratch my face. It's very itchy all of a sudden, and you have to guess which part of my face is itching me like it is. Okay, I'm not gonna say anything because I don't want to trigger anybody. So um, here we go. Okay, let's turn that on. All right. So now you see the lady standing on the fence as I pull into park to let my kids out. She's going to come and stand right in front of the car on the side. Okay, this is her right there. Okay, and she's going to be doing this. Okay, see how she turns? She does this. Now she's waiting for her partner, right? Which is again, they a lot of times they work in pairs or threes or fours, like I've said. So now she's grabbing her clothes. He comes now, and they're gonna again. He stands on the side, and I should have turned the phone, but I knew if I did, they would probably walk off. So there she is. You know, she's looking in the schoolyard. Okay, she turns around. Okay, they're both standing on the side. You can see their shadows. Okay, so what happened is that you see the guy walk past with wearing the green jacket, right? This guy right here. He has his head down. Okay, now is when they're gonna move into play. So she crossed in front of the car. Now, if you look at the direction of traffic, why is she looking that way? Why is she where she should be looking at the opposite direction to, you know, make sure there's no traffic coming in, right? Okay, so now as she turns, you'll see again she does this. Okay, okay. Now check this out. So in the meantime, he's there covering his mouth. You know, he's touching his face. You see his hands going up. Now, watch. Remember, I talk about the colors that they use, right? The blue, red, and the gray. So here she is again. You know, as she walks back as I got back into the car after walking the kids to the schoolyard. She stands across the street, got back to the car, sat down, then she walked right back. Because again, it wants me to see the bag, and again, she does this. Okay, okay. So now, as I turn, okay, and she's still doing this because again, she knows I'm going to turn the phone to record what it is that they're doing. So all this time he's and you see how he slightly looks up at me to see what I'm doing. Okay. So again, they're very crafty in terms of how they target me, right? Okay, so heading to the gas station at this point to get gas. Okay. Um, okay, so let's go. So here I am. I'm leaving the gas station, and I want to get to this point. And again, I talk about the police harassment, how they do it, and how they mask it using civilians. So as you see, as I'm approaching this intersection here, you'll see a police car that's going to make the it will be his right and my left, right? So you see it right there, police vehicle right there, okay? And how they use the civilian perpetrators together with them. So you see this individual across the street, okay? He's looking in my direction, okay? You'll see him. So he pinches his nose and he's doing this. And again, I don't mean to trigger anybody, but you'll see they'll do this, right? Take their thumb and place it against their forehead. Okay. Now you'll see cover his face with his hands. Okay. He takes his thumb and press it against his face. Then he grabs his butt. Okay. So again, uh, just again showing you guys, and you'll see here because they're not done, right? This is they always follow up with other subliminals, right? So for example, and I'm going to show you guys here as I turn, okay, you'll see the woman wearing all black, and as I turn, she's going to take her phone out, looks at it, and then she folds her arm just like this. Okay. All right, so now here I am taking Pam to work. Now the one thing I gotta say is that today, normally Pam is very talkative, but I kind of figured today uh, she wasn't, and she was being very careful of what to say and what not to say. Okay, and so I don't want to, play the conversations because it's going to take too long. But just want to just show particular parts and where I took her to work, and so again, let's go. All right, so let's see here. Okay, I'm gonna stop. I'm not gonna run you over. And you see he does this. Very slick people. Okay, let's see where else here. I think coming up on this corner. Let's see, is it this one? No, it might be the next one. Okay, let's get to the next video. Okay, so now if you look across the street, you'll see a young lady. Again, you know how to recognize and spot these perps because the minute you're in their view, they start to play with their hair, putting their hands behind their head, touching their clothes, touching themselves. Sometimes they'll even touch their breast in front of me. Okay, and so this is something that they do. So you see, she starts to play with her hair using that fixation of the palm. Okay, see that? So now she's acting like she's fixing her shades or glass, what have you, and you can see how if you look, you can see the palm of her hand. That's the fixation drill. Now he's doing the same thing too over here. Okay, so remember I talked about sometimes they work in pairs. Again, this is all orchestrated, and again now she takes her hands and swipe her hair back, the hands behind the head thing, all while the biker again wearing red, which is the color theme. And so you get to recognize exactly what it is that they're doing. All right. Okay. So now, like I said, a lot of people participate in this. They're very religious, and you hear other TIs talk about how they're being bombarded with cars with the license plate 666, and they'll do that to me from time to time. Whenever I guess they feel like they're, you know, have some type of leverage or upper hand, because everything they do is to undermine you, is to one up you, right? So they will always change the narrative. They will always change whatever game they're playing, right? So that they will always be on top, right? Remember, this is domination game here. They're trying to dominate you. So they're always going to one up you. When you do something nice, okay, they're going to do something to try to negate that. It's like it's like a competition. And again, this is the type of mentality again that we talk about this program, the structure, and then getting these religious fanatics, these cult members, to join in and participate in the stuff, is always trying to one up you, because again, the narrative that's put out there is that you're not a nice person or you're some type of threat to public safety and stuff like that. So, they're gonna have. Remember, this is law enforcement. This is the tactics that they do, including the FBI, the CIA. All right, is that they will create a villain, be it through psychological manipulation, manipulating the person environments to shape a narrative. Right, they will manipulate the person surrounding, their friends, introduce them to people, to shape their mindset. Right, and then uh, out of that is to make the person do something that goes against their best interest, or maybe the best interest of someone else, and then use that as a tool to villainize them and to continue to manipulate these people. All right, so this is what they're doing. So you see this person here, she's going to make a U-turn in front of me. I don't know why she's making a U-turn. You can see the traffic is so bad, that there's just no way for her to even make this U-turn, but she's going to attempt, and she knows that she couldn't. But again, you understand the masking. See how she waves at me again, because this the palm thing, right? You tell you the fixation drill, the palm thing. So this is what they do, and this is how they try to mask it. Okay. Now when she realized she can't make the U-turn, now she's gonna drive and look at the license plate, right? The license plate 666, right? And again, I got to talk about how these religious people try to uh, bring you or to Jesus or to God or what have you. Sometimes they'll walk and they'll put their hands like this, like I'm supposed to pray. First of all, I don't believe in your God. Okay, I am a believer of Egyptian spirituality. Okay, so in which all these gods or your so-called one true God derived from. Because if you do the history, do the research, you will know that the Hebrew concept of this God, Adam and Eve, was all taken from Kemet, was all taken from the Medu Netta. Okay, and then these people created their own version. Okay, so know your belief and know where it comes from. And once you find out the truth, I guarantee you, you will not follow Christianity or Islam or Judaism. Okay, these are just belief systems. They're not real. They weren't meant to be taken as real. Egyptian spirituality knows that when it talks about uh, the god Horus, Isis, and they didn't even call them gods back then. They had words or names for the things that brought life onto this earth, including the earth itself. Okay, so when you hear names like Nut, Geb, Haru, uh, Isis, okay, Osiris, right, and then Saturn, which they changed to become Satan. Remember, Egyptians studied astrology, okay, and then the Greek follow up because they learned from the Egyptian. So you read the Bible is full of astrology, but you just have to know how to decipher it and read it. Okay, the Romans took it and created and said, okay, these things are real people, but they're not. You can find no historical evidence, no empirical fact or evidence to support anything in the Bible. Okay, talk about the Jewish people in Egypt. We have our history written in stone, the Medunetta. There's no mention of no Hebrew people, no Jewish people. There's no mention of no Moses, no King David. There's no mention of these people. And this is supposed to be happening at the same time as the history written on the Medunetta. And we can find facts and evidence to support what's on what the Medunetta says. You can't find no facts or evidence to support your Bible. Okay? And the 666 is not the mark of the beast. The reason why the church, the Roman Catholic Church, the Pope, right, the Emperor Constantine at the time, is because they came into the realization that, hey, we can't continue learning from these black people. Somewhere along the line, a person, okay, who is psychopathic in nature decides that, you know what, I want to be worshipped because I'm the ruler. And so I'm going to create my own version so people can follow. And this is what happened with Christianity. This is what happened with Judaism. This is what happened with Islam. This is what happened, in many civilizations. Taken from the original source and creating their own versions. And that's what happened. So because the church did not want people to follow and study science, astrology, agriculture, and they knew the Egyptians, they studied chemistry, biology. They knew about the 6 protons, 6 electrons, the 6 neutrons, the building blocks of an atom. They knew about this. Okay, historians will tell you because of the church action, whether it be I should say the action of religious believers and fundamentalists, that they've basically set humanity back by 1,000 years. They've destroyed books. They've burned evidence of great inventions. Okay, this is what they've done. So the 666, when I see it, I don't put any religious connotation to it because it has nothing to do with religion. It has to do with chemistry, biology, and understanding that the building blocks of an atom. Okay, and doesn't atom sound like, well, atom doesn't it sound like atom? I mean, come on, people, you got to think, right? So again, this is what's happening, and a lot of these religious people, y'all are in a deep trance, in a deep sleep that you need to get out of. Okay. All right. So let's go to the next video, and you'll see. Uh, let's skip past these. So here I am approaching. I'm on Pan's block, and I'm getting ready to get parking. And as soon as I find a parking space, guess who comes out? Okay, if you look to the left, you will see one of the perps. Okay. Hold up. I'm just trying to get a good picture here. Okay, nope. All right, there we go. Okay. This is the same guy in the previous video that I did, or one of the previous video, where you see he walks in front of the car, he starts pinching his nose, and then he walks towards me and pulling his ears, right? So now they have him there waiting, and so you see as he approaches me, I'm pulling into the parking space. Okay, and again, this is all scripted. Okay, it's all scripted. So you see the young woman who was walking behind him. She turns around. He turns and he looks at her. Okay, and now you'll see pinch his nose again. Okay, and I think and this is so somebody was pulling out of a parking space, and so he sees me going to the next parking space, and now he starts to walk towards me. You know, uh, again, this is the thing that they do, the type of harassment that they engage in, and the civilians that they recruit into engaging these type of targeting in these types of harassment. And those in law enforcement are behind us. They are the overseers of this program. Ultimately, the people on top, which is those within the Department of Defense, the CIA, the FBI, the NSA, who are engaging in non-consensual human experimentation, okay, and then using your local and state law enforcement agencies to engage in psychological warfare, to engage in propaganda, to try to silence those of us who have been placed into these non-consensual human station program. For me, it's the illegal microchipping, okay, for purpose of remote neural monitoring, the use of directed energy weapons, microwave frequency, okay, silent sound spectrum, to send me transmission to, uh, try to control my behavior, or because again they have a narrative that they want to keep doing, okay, and it's not a nice one. The use of dark NLP, specifically neurolinguistic programming, to condition you negatively, and this is something that they do to all of us in a whole, but to us as TIs, they do it in a more concentrated form, in a more vicious, okay, abusive form. Okay, and this is what they do to us, and that's why a lot of us have, you know, uh, psychological problems. Okay, some a lot more than others, and you have others who've committed suicide because of this. Okay, and what happened? These people who orchestrated these types of program, who participate in it, they get away with it because they can always say they commit suicide. This person commits suicide. It's kind of like what the police do, right? When they kill a person who's handcuffs, who've had their hand tied behind their back, what do they say? They shot themselves in the head. They committed suicide in the back of a squad car. Or if they're in jail, they found hanging, they committed suicide, right? This is how they get away with murdering people. This is how they get away with uh, experimenting on people and psychologically uh, harassing them to the point where they commit suicide. This is what they do. Okay, and we have to educate, teach, put the word out so that other targeted individuals don't fall into that trap, that they don't, you know, harm themselves in any way or even harm others in any way by letting them understand and exactly what's happening. And it's hard for me to explain this to target individuals who are religious because they think this is all spiritual and demonic and stuff like that. I mean, it's evil, right? But there's nothing. There's no such things as demons. There's no such things as angels and all these spirit stuff. Like there's no such thing as that. Okay, and so this is what we have to do. What I have to do. All right, because like I said, uh, they're not going to shut me up. They never will. They can manipulate me, my kids, my family. They can manipulate Pam. They can turn her against me. They can use her friends and family to turn her against me. As much as I love that woman, what I'm saying, I love this more because this will help every other person out there. It's going to help my children. It's going to help her. It's going to help my family. It's going to help your family, your kids, your friends, your husband, aunts, uncle. Because if they ever come to you and said, this is happening, and you find this video, show this to them. Let them see this. Okay? So I got to go take my headache medicine because with all this targeting, I get that. I get those headaches, those ice, what the doctor call ice pick headaches. And so, this is again, the physical damage that they've caused. My brother, who's been a target for over 25 years, just found out he has congenital heart disease. And again, that's a direct effect of him being targeted, the stress that's been placed on himself because of this and because of the microwave and that. uh, he has an enlarged heart, and now he has congenital heart disease, otherwise known as broken heart disease. So this is what they do. They cause us so much stress, okay, by psychologically targeting us, as well as the use of these directed energy weapons, these microwave mind control frequencies that they use on us, that it caused a lot of physical illnesses. For me, I'm 47 and I got arthritis already. Okay, I mean, just to tell you, the white matter in my brain has been damaged severely, as if I had concussions, and I never had a concussion. So how did that happen? Right? So there was a story about Adriana Grande, because of what happened at a concert, I think in England, that because of the traumatic effect of what happened, the white matter in her brain was damaged also. So it just goes to show you that trauma, psychological trauma, can cause physical damage to your body. And so when they telling you, if you're appropriate looking at this video, that this doesn't harm a person, and if you know it harm a person but you're still engaging in it anyway, then I'm not the threat. You are. I'm not evil. You are. And if you believe in God and the devil, okay, and that's 666, then you're the devil masquerading as some type of angel or some type of do-gooder. Okay, you got it twisted. Okay, almost 80% of these preachers in the church are homosexual, but yet they preach against homosexuality. And you're going to church every Sunday listening to these people. You're listening to a lie. Okay, but because the truth is so uncomfortable, and they know this, and the truth, the lie is so sweet, but the truth is not, you rather the lie. But eventually, when the truth takes over, how are you going to deal with it? Okay? How are you going to deal with it? Then you're going to realize, like I've been saying, that you're a criminal, that you're evil. Okay? And there'll be no question or doubt about that. All right? So I'll speak to you guys on the next video.